a white man or whatever. No, you fucked up. They're going to get you out of here. All they wanted was your vote. They got it now. They don't need you anymore. And they're looking to get you out of here. Right? Now, I don't know how they're going to do that. Maybe somebody in his cabinet can convince him, hey, it's not a good idea to deport these people. They're a big portion of our workforce. And if we deport them, the economy is going to go to shit. I don't know. Maybe they can convince him. And if they do, well, lucky you. But if they don't, you are the prime target. And you voted for it, even though we tried to warn you. So anything that happens to you, it's your own goddamn fault. You voted for it. That's what you wanted. That's what you're going to get. I have no sympathy for you. Sorry. You know, for all of you who didn't vote for him, I'm sorry that you're going to have to go through this. I truly am sorry. And that's my message to the Latinos for Trump. You won. Congratulations. You might get your ass deported back to Mexico or wherever you came from. Congratulations. Now, to the rest of you that voted for Trump, you sold out your country for the price of eggs, the price of gasoline, interest rate on loans, the price of houses. You were too selfish and too fucking greedy to do the right thing. No, you wanted to do something for yourself. Fuck the country. Well, you screwed yourself and the rest of us in the process. That man is too stupid to run this country. If he does what he's planning to do with the tariffs, you think prices were high under Biden? You're about to find out how high they can go. You're going to have to choose between groceries and rent. If you're already in that situation, I'm sorry for you. But if you were in that situation and you voted for Trump, well, then you just fuck yourself even more, because it's going to get worse. You think you won. The only thing you won was the election. You lost your country. You lost your self-respect. You lost your freedom. If Trump does all the things that he said he was going to do, we're in for a world of hurt. All of us. All of us. Hopefully we can survive it, but I don't think we're going to be able to. That man is a total idiot. And if they don't have anyone watching him and steering him in the right direction, we are all screwed. But hey, you did it. I'm going to be here to remind you about it. Hopefully I don't have to leave the country, but if it comes to that, I'm ready. I've got an out. Hopefully you do too. Have a good day.
Hello guys, welcome once again to the channel. I hope wherever you are, you're having a great time. Now, one of the reasons why whites supported Trump is that he promised strict and aggressive border policies. He was talking about stronger immigration laws that are going to limit the pouring of immigrants into America from their porous borders. But then one thing that these whites are currently talking silently about is the fact that blacks are not being deported. Many of them are even wondering, why is it that blacks can't be deported? I can tell you the level of hatred that some white supremacists have towards black people is not measurable. They even think that if other minority groups like Latinos are being deported, why is it that no one or ICE agents are not even going within black communities and sending them back to where they came from? This reveals one thing, that most whites or most MAGA supporters may not have a proper understanding of the history that America is. Because how on earth would they come and start asking why blacks are not being deported? I want to take a listen to some of the complaints that they have had here over this issue of deportation of blacks and other minorities. And I shall come back in the end to give my commentaries. Let's watch.
Latinos have to be more delusional than J-Lo thinking she's really Selena to believe that black people can be deported in their own country and that black people are immigrants.
Are you people insane? What are you talking about?
Through my short tenure on this app, having conversations with people throughout the diaspora and people from around the world, it has come to my attention that many do believe that black people are actually immigrants in the country that we hail from. This is why we get hit with, where are you from? And when somebody says Georgia or New York or Detroit, they're like, no, where are your parents from? And I'm like, New York. They don't get it. And it's like, you arrived here as an immigrant and you think America is a white country. America has never been a white country. America has always been a multi-ethnic country in which white people have been the majority of, never been a white country. So you don't look at a black person or a native person and be like, oh, you're really American. That's just the reality of this country. We'll always say the only real Americans in this current iteration of America we have are white people, black people, and Native Americans, because those three people have been here since before the inception of America and during the creation of America. Everyone else came after. All the other European immigrants came through Ellis Island. The Italians, the Polish, the Jewish people, the Greeks, all of those people are later additions. We've been here since before all of them. So how can a black person be deported? I would implore you to actually know the history of the country you're living in or trying to occupy. And before you speak to someone who is actually a descendant of the people who have been here since the 1700s, do better. Do better. This is a sad attempt at you trying to force my hand to support Latinos because of what's happening right now. I do support everyone, but to say a comment like this is dumb because black people cannot be deported because we're from here. Now, can other black immigrants be deported? 1,000%. I have family that can be deported because I have family from all around the world, but I'm American. But that's a different conversation in terms of identity politics and how Afro-Latinos or Caribbean or Africans identify in this current phase of America. Latinos are the ones that are being targeted right now. Asians are the ones being targeted right now. And Latino people have a history of anti-blackness and a history of colorism within their community. You guys are racist towards your own dark-skinned people, your own black people. So you have to stop looking to black people for like unwavering support, and then in the same sentence be like, well, you're next, or you're ghetto, or you're this. And it's like the underlying tones of racism and threats that you guys put in your messaging aren't helping your cause. They aren't helping your cause.
Man, what's going on TikTok? How y'all doing? Hope y'all having a wonderful day. But check this out. Man, I noticed something with this deportation thing. I just couldn't figure it out. I said it in my video, but I just never thought about it. These people keep saying we're going to get deported, we're going to get deported, we're going to get deported. They projecting because we the only people that didn't immigrate here. We didn't migrate here. We not refugees to come over here. We not in the immigration system. We didn't have to pledge allegiance and denounce another country just to live here. We didn't do none of that. We not anchor babies. Our parents didn't come over here, didn't had us here. None of that. But they have. They have. And they hate that. They jealous of that. They jealous of that. Because number one, they thought they were going to be our replacement. They was working on it. I ain't gonna lie, they were working real hard to be our replacement. Then number two, they came over here to colonize us. But when they found out that Trump made it a way where we are emancipated people, we are children of slaves, we can't be deported. They hate that, and that bothers them. That jealousy and envy bothers them because they already come over here with jealousy. They already come over here with envy. But now they see we can't go nowhere. Now they want us to be scared with them. They want us to be scared of if we see an unmarked car drive past our house. They want our heart to be beating fast, you know what I mean? When we go to restaurants and we see ICE come take somebody, they want us to be scared with them. And we just out here popping fans, you know what I'm saying? Well, them fans, we just popping fans, having fun, enjoying life, talking, trying to get our money right, trying to see what's going to happen in the future. We ain't even thinking about ICE. We're not even thinking about being deported like they is. They want us to be scared like them. They want us to be worried like them. You get what I'm saying? That, and I'm like, damn, bro, like they really are jealous of us. Not just the Africans and Caribbeans, the Mexicans are jealous of us. Because they mad because they not part of the 14th Amendment. They not. There's a lot of white people not part of the 14th Amendment either. They jealous of that, bro. We can trace our family to the 1700s. Some people can go far back than that. And they don't like it. And they jealous of it. And they hate it. I know it burns them up. Like all the contempt, all the anti-blackness they say about us, the rhetoric, the stereotypes, all that stuff they spew. And that one thing they can't get is citizenship like we have. We emancipated people, and they hate that. Oh, they hate that. That burns them up. That's why they doing these scare tactics on us. That's why they doing all these things, because they want us to be fearful, just like them, of being deported.
So Latinos, y'all thought we was immigrants? So you mean to tell me y'all thought we was just over here chilling? So that's why you guys are saying that we're next. Man, we was first. And they still ain't stopped coming for us. So, hey, just don't worry about us, man. We gonna take care of us, and y'all take care of y'all, man. Cause we know how y'all look at us, man. And don't try to say that it's not that way, man, because we know it is. We know it.
Man, stop trying to convince these people that we need to stand together and all that. They ain't trying to hear that shit, bro. They've been betrayed so many times, bro. 1877, after federal troops pulled out of the South, bro. Betrayed. 40 acres and a mule, betrayed. You feel me? Jim Crow, betrayed. Redlining, betrayed. Every promise that this country has made to them has been a false promise. And now we need y'all to stand with us while we march. But leave them people alone. They ain't trying to hear that shit. They ain't trying to hear that shit. Because they know how prevalent racism is in our community. And they know how y'all talk about them when they ain't in the room. And they know that now y'all got y'all N-word wake up, didn't y'all? Y'all got that Paul Mooney N-word wake up call, and now y'all want to scream unity and solidarity. Nah, bro, it don't work that way. It don't work that way. The people that have been working together will continue to work together. The people that have empathy for your plight and your situation will continue to have empathy for your plight and situation. But don't try to convince people to come join your side. Like, oh, it's always been. They don't give a fuck. They don't care. They're trying to survive their damn self. They're trying to figure out how this man is about to get rid of the 13th and 14th Amendment and strip them of citizenship. What, you don't think they know what time it is? They gotta deal with their own shit. I'm just saying, I see a lot of videos where people are like trying to convince, Black Americans that they need to stand side by side with Black and brown unity, but when it's something that doesn't benefit us, we ain't screaming that shit. Yeah, get mad. Go ahead. You know I'm fucking right.
I don't have no hate towards y'all at the end of the day, man. It is what it is. It is what it is.
What's going on, people? I want to briefly talk about all of this nonsense from migrants just saying to Black Americans, your time is coming too. You wait. One day it's going to be your turn. In other words, to be deported. How's that going to happen? And where would they deport Black Americans to? Now, you could say, oh, they're going to deport you back to Africa. We've never been to Africa. We have no connections to Africa. Let's just say, hypothetically speaking, wake up one morning and the Iceman is knocking on the door, breaking the door down, saying, okay, get up. We deporting you. You going back to Africa, right? And we're like, Africa? I ain't never been to no Africa. Who's in Africa? What part of Africa am I going to? Yeah, you going to send me back to the continent? What country in Africa am I going to? We just going to send you back to Africa because that's where you from. You got family. Who my family in Africa? Where am I going to live in Africa? I don't know nobody in Africa. You just going to just send me back to a place that I ain't never been before? Now you see how stupid that sounds. Now I'm going to make a video on YouTube. and I'm going to go in more in depth on that, and I'm going to post it on X, okay? So you guys go to X and follow me on X. If you have an X account, formerly as Twitter, go on there and follow me. Fearless J 2008. Fearless J 2008. I'm going to make that video because it makes no sense. Why would you wish bad on somebody, to a people that have done nothing to you? What have Black Americans done to migrants and to the Latino community and even the Africans that would tell Black Americans, your day is coming too. You just wait. You're going to get deported too. Where am I being deported to? This is my country. This is where I'm from. This is where my ancestors are from. Oh, you's from Africa. Where in Africa am I from? And who's my family in Africa? Once I get to Africa, who can I call? Right? So tell me, all of y'all that say that I'm from Africa, that I'm going to be deported back to Africa, number one, I can't be deported to a place that I ain't never been before. So how am I going to be deported back to a place that I had never been before? Y'all tell me that. Who's my peoples in Africa? What was my African name? See, you see how stupid that sounds, right? So when you say Black American, it's going to happen to you one day, why would you wish bad on somebody? What did Black Americans do to you? Was it an individual Black American? Did you get jumped? Did somebody take your cookie in school? Were you bullied? For Africans, were you called an African booty scratcher? Because I know a lot of y'all keep saying, like, I was bullied in school. I was called an African booty scratcher, and that hurt my feelings. And I had PTSD from being called an African booty scratcher when I was growing up from Black Americans. So now I'm just going to wish that they get deported. What did Black Americans do to y'all to make you want Black Americans to be deported? To not even like Black Americans? Know what I think it is? I think you envy Black Americans. I think Black Americans are comfortable in a position, because y'all are trying to, for some reason, y'all seem to, be spending a whole lot of time, man. It's like Black Americans are living inside your head. You have Black American derangement syndrome, right? It's like, well, Black Americans ain't taking advantage of the opportunities here. Black Americans are committing all these crimes. But what does that have to do with you? Because a few Black Americans, just like from any other race, right? But what does that have to do with you? Black Americans don't work. They lazy. What does that have to do with you? How does that stop you from doing what you're supposed to do? And where are the results of what you've been doing since you've been here? All right? You know what I mean? So why are you all in Black Americans' power? Why are you pocket watching Black Americans? Right? How does that benefit you? How does that give one inkling to your life? How does that affect you? You just watch Black Americans day in, day out. You're trying to find something wrong. It's like, this what so create your own space. Do your own thing. Don't worry about what somebody else is doing. Right? But I made a video on TikTok, and I was just supporting Coke, and I really didn't expect to get over 200,000, close to 300,000 views on there. And it's a lot of angry Mexicans and Latinos. Took that quite personal, although it had nothing to do with you. So now a lot of y'all are on there talking about grape Kool-Aid, which I have no idea what that is, and you talk about Africa and go back to Africa and it's going to happen to you, what's going to happen to me? Where am I going to get deported to? Who's going to deport me? Did you not know, and this is historically true, one of the biggest fears that the white man had was for black people, for black Americans to wake up and rise up. That's a fear that they've always had. That's why the FBI is always looking for a black messiah. And that's why when a black messiah, or what appears to be a black messiah, arise, they end up taking him out, right? Because they fear black Americans rising up, okay? We are indigenous here, all right? So I don't know what you guys are talking about, man. Do you not know what would happen if they try to deport black Americans? It sounds stupid. Even me saying this sounds stupid. But do you know what would happen if they try to deport black Americans to a place that we've never been before, that we know nothing about, that we have no connections to, right? See, it sounds silly. So y'all need to stop that nonsense, man. Talking about they're gonna deport y'all back to Africa, a place that we ain't never been before. We ain't no Africans, right? Well, I had a chat with Chat GPT. We had an in-depth conversation, right? AI and Chat GPT, and I was asking some questions like, well, that's a good point. It couldn't answer the questions, right? Because if you're telling me that I'm African because we have DNA in African, well, they say every human being descended from Africa. So that means a Chinaman should be African too, you know? So what makes them different than me? Well, we've been away for over 500 years, right? And some even say that we were here before then, but they were transported to Africa and then end up being transported back here. Therefore, that's where you got the thing, oh, you from Africa. Black people all over this planet, right? You forget the original woman that they found, the oldest bone, was a black woman. So we've been everywhere on this planet, right? So who's to say that we are Africans, man? We're entirely different people. They know that they're different from us. They ain't like us, right? And I think that's why you have so many immigrants that's angry and upset, because they're not in the position that many of us are in, right? Although a lot of us, or you may think a lot of us, don't take advantage of it, all right? But where are we going to be deported to? And who's going to do the deporting? I don't think that's going to happen, because the day that happened is the day that there will be some serious bloodshed here. And that's one of the things that the white man always feared, was black Americans waking up and rising up.
Let me get on to you, modern crusaders. Somebody sent me a stitch that you did in my video, and I don't know how I missed it, but I missed it. That's my fault for missing that stitch. But let me tell you something. I'm not African, bro. If we're gonna use this African descent thing, everybody has African descent. Everybody. If we're gonna use your theory, everybody has African descent. Even you have African descent, so you African too, right? Even though you Mexican or El Salvadorian or Nicaraguan, whatever you are, Spanish-speaking person, whatever you are, whatever you claim to be, you got African descent in you. You got a black abuela somewhere in your family. Let's get that straight, okay? What I said was black Americans, meaning the 14th Amendment people, will not be deported. The Africans will be deported. The Caribbeans gonna be deported. The Haitians gonna be deported. The Mexicans gonna be deported. The people from your country will be deported, but not black Americans. That's what I said. There's a distinct difference between me and the rest of them. I didn't immigrate here. I wasn't a refugee here. My parents didn't have me as an anchor baby on this land. My parents didn't flee nowhere from war-torn countries or anything like that. I don't have a history of fleers in my family. I don't have a history of migrators in my family. And for you to say in one of my comments, as a Mexican man, this is how you think low of your people. Who gonna pick the fruits and the vegetables? So you cool with your people being exploited for low wages. You cool with it. That tells me a lot about you as a person. Black Americans, we ain't finna be exploited for no little money. We'd rather just sit on the corner and get money. We'd rather work 3 jobs that's paying more than picking whatever they trying to get us to pick fruit and stuff. We used to get, back in the day, we used to get paid good money to pick fruit and vegetables until y'all came over and lowered the wages for people to pick fruits, especially out there in California. They used to get paid good money out there in the 80s until they saw, oh, we can exploit these people. These people work for $2 an hour. People making $250 almost every 2 hours with a case, like have multiple cases of fruits and vegetables picking, and they were making bank back then. But y'all came and lowered the wages. So why you want your people to be exploited? Huh? Answer that question. Why? Tell me why. As a Hispanic, Mexican, Spanish descent, whatever you are, I don't know what you is. Okay? We will not be deported, sir. We're not you. We're not Africans. We don't come from Africa. A lot of us in America, just because I'm black and I look, I could be Dominican, I could be Caribbean, I could be a dark Puerto Rican, I could be Afro-Latino, Afro-Mexican, African, or whatever, or even a black Filipino. I could be all those things. I could be a black Brazilian. I could be all those things, but I'm not from those places, bro. They all African descent just like you. Just because people have African descent doesn't mean they from these fucking countries. White people have African DNA in their bloodline. White people. But y'all ain't pushing that African stuff on them. So once again, let me make it plain and clear for you, okay? As a 14th Amendment emancipated Negro of the United States of America, we will not be deported. You, on the other hand, and other people like yourself will be deported. They even deporting white people, okay? But we will not be deported at all. We're not you. I don't have to look out the window and be like, oh, Jesus, is that ice over there? I don't got to do that. I ain't got to do that. A lot of my people ain't got to do that. We ain't got to look out no window. So, anyway, y'all have a good day.
Welcome back to the channel. Now, listening to what everybody is saying, you get to understand why some of these MAGA supporters are always being referred to as delusional, because how on earth would they think that blacks can be deported? Where did they ever get such kind of a thought? It really tells you they have little or shallow history in their memory, and they don't even know who black people are, because these are the people who built America. They're the ones who allowed the Industrial Revolution and the Agrarian Revolution to happen and succeed, because they provided labor, and the free labor that was much needed for the growth of America and building it as it is today. It came from black people, and therefore, where do you want to take them? At least if you want to deport them to any place, you have to give them reparations, and that reparation must be commensurate to the effort they placed or they put in creating and building America to what it is today. So some whites supported Trump's aggressive deportation orders and even wanted them to include black Americans because they associate undesirable populations with anyone who is not white. This mindset reflects a racialized view of citizenship, where being American is wrongly equated with being white. To them, deportation became a way to restore a vision of America rooted in racial purity and dominance, even if it meant targeting people who are, in fact, native-born citizens. This attitude exposes a deep confusion about who belongs in America. Many black Americans have ancestral roots in the United States, stretching back centuries, long before most white families immigrated from Europe. The idea of deporting black citizens ignores the historical reality that African Americans are foundational to the nation's creation, having built much of its wealth through forced labor during slavery and contributed to its culture, politics, and progress ever since. The push to include black people in deportation efforts also reveal how racism often overrides facts or legality. Instead of recognizing black Americans as integral members of the American country, some whites see them as perpetual outsiders or threats to social order. This is continuation of old prejudices that once justified slavery, segregation, and mass incarceration under the false belief that black presence endangered white stability. Such beliefs demonstrate a lack of understanding of American history and identity. The United States has always been multiracial, built not only by European settlers but also by African, indigenous, and immigrant people. Forgetting or denying this truth allows a racial ignorance to persist, turning policy debates into vehicles for exclusion rather than justice. Ultimately, the desire to deport black Americans is not about immigration. It is about white insecurity. It exposes how some whites cling to a distorted version of America that erases its true, diverse origins. This ignorance of history sustains racial fear and division, preventing the country from moving towards genuine equality and collective understanding. And that really is the truth about America and what it is today. Most people might think that they have that leeway to give the government any direction that they want the government to take. For example, how would they call for blacks to be deported when they know that these are people who are foundational to the making and building of America as it is? This is weird if you ask me. Share your thoughts down in the comment section, and if you're watching us for the first time, remember to subscribe to the channel, like the video, and share. Thank you. Let's meet on the next one.